So here we are in Taiohae Bay, about to make takeoff for Ua Pou, which is down there. It's a nice 25-mile, 5-hour or so sail, hopefully. And the overnight rain has gone, and I'm hoping that we'll have there'll be quite a big swell, almost certainly, but hopefully no rain, and the wind will be from the east. And it'll be a nice sail, I hope. So we're just getting the boat ready to leave Taiohae Bay. 9:22 it's saying there, that's 19:22 I should say, that's UTC, GMT, Zulu, whatever you want to call it. Take 9.5 hours off that, you've got Marquesas time, so we're not quite 10 o'clock, and that was my intended, around that time, that was when I was intending to leave. So we'll get the sail cover off and get the sail hoisted and get the anchor up, not necessarily in that order, and get going. Well, we'll say goodbye to Taiohae as we head out towards Ua Pou. Motor running for the moment, but we've got the sail set. We'll be able to turn off the engine in just a moment. So a lot of heavy rain last night, but it's looking a lot better now. To a week or so back, and then goodbye to Taiohae in Nuku, Hiva. Engine's about to be turned on. With the engine off some time ago, under sail, well reefed down. I've got the second reef in, and the genoa is just somewhere between the second and third marks. But we're making reasonable speed. We're making 5 knots. A little bit hazy over the land there, but with all that rain, that's hardly surprising. We had a lot of heavy rain last night and yesterday. Here we go the other way. So on our way to Ua Pou. So there's someone there coming in towards Taiohae Bay. Maybe come round from Hakahau on the north side. The seas are quite big, 2.5 meters easily. But it's interesting that we're actually under lovely blue sky just here, but back on Nuku Hiva, not too surprisingly, it's got a lot of cloud. So you can see in the background there how the island is covered in cloud, some of it grey, and whereas we've got very nice blue sky overhead. And a good wind. We've got about 17 knots of wind, up and down around 15, 17, and we're making just over 4 knots. We're a bit close hauled because we're trying to make our course, and that's rather close to the wind. We're probably going to have to bear away a little bit more to get some speed, and then we might have to motor in the final stretch. So we'll see how that goes. Not too bad, I suppose. Could be worse. Ua Pou, Nuku Hiva fading into the distance, getting a little bit hazy. between the islands there's very little cloud, but of course with the big mountains on the islands you've got a lot of cloud actually over them, and the same is happening, I'm noticing, at over Ua Pou that we're headed to. This is Nuku Hiva at the moment, astern of us. Same thing there. A very definite weather window. Yesterday really rainy and quite a strong wind. Today no rain. We hope that keeps up, it should do. The wind is relatively strong, but I'm not seeing more than 18, 19 apparent, which isn't too bad, staying under the 20 at the moment. I imagine it will gust up as we get close to Ua Pou, because we'll get a kind of a cape effect. There'll be an acceleration of the wind around the mountains that way. But for the moment we're in reasonably big seas, good wind, and we're making around 5 knots. I'm well reefed down being a chicken, but there we go, it's staying safe. The Genoa is furled in a little bit, and I've got 2 reefs in the main. But we're heeling over quite a lot with these big seas. I'm perfectly happy with the way our sail set is. So, yep, that's all good. It's beginning to make out the outline of Ua Pou at the moment. Very, very hazy, very misty in the distance there. But that also has some quite high mountains on it. These amazing spires, which we'll hopefully see in a few days' time. So, yep, we're making good speed, making good way. One good thing about having good wind is that the wind generator, the super wind, which is a very, very good wind generator, is putting in a nice lot of power into the battery. So the solar panels at the stern there as well, they're putting in good power. So between sun and wind, a change, we're actually getting a good input into the batteries. So here's my view ahead, looking at Ua Pou coming up. We've got 18 knots of wind roughly, apparent that is, and we're mostly making 5.5, occasionally 6 knots. And we've probably got another, we're just over halfway, got about another 3 hours to go maybe 2.5 hopefully. But certainly we should be anchored, I hope, by 4:30. It's interesting to see that we're being taken well off our course now, a lot more now than earlier, and that's probably due to the current that's here. Some of it must be leeway with the strong wind pushing us sideways, so that is probably a current effect there. Well, unfortunately, the leeway, the amount by which we weren't able to make our course to the harbour entrance, meant in the end that, of course, I needed to tack away, and that really lost me a lot of ground because we're tacking into a 22 knot wind by that time, and I was beginning to get quite worried about the sunset coming up, not too many hours ahead. 4:30 I was hoping to have got into the harbour, but that was increasingly looking unlikely. In the distance there you can get a hint of the tops of some of the rather dramatic spires caused by volcanic ancient old cores. Well, that was quite a stressful ending. I had to tack away in the 20, 21, 22 knot wind, apparent wind, and I ended up having to motor sail, in fact, to try, because I was really worried that I was not going to get in daylight. I've never been in here before, and here I am. And fortunately, good cruisers came along to help me. They saw me coming in. One boat was about to leave, and the idea was that I was going to take that spot, but they couldn't get their stern anchor up, and this is such a tiny anchorage that there were 3 boats in here, of which they were the middle one, with the stern anchor out to stop them, to keep them moving around too much, swinging around. So they couldn't get the stern anchor up. I was going to take their spot, so that's not happened. So in the meantime, what's happened is that I've anchored ahead of them, but in between them and another boat, and the people in the other boat who were trying to help the middle boat get away, they have taken my stern anchor and laid it out for me. So I've actually christened my stern anchor. I think that's the first time it has ever been used on this boat. It's a 12-kilo grapnel, so it's a pretty heavy, good one. So I'm good and safe thanks to these new cruiser friends who I'll meet up with in the morning. Paul and Liz, I think their names are. They're on the boat called Arnero, and I know exactly what that means. That's Greek for that's the Greek word for dream. So I wish them Gliga Arnera, which is sweet dreams for tonight. But the trouble is, there's another boat coming in. Unbelievable. They've just come in from Panama, and they were going to come in here. In fact, they're due to come in. So I've just been trying to give them some advice as to where they could drop their anchor and be okay. At least it will be a lot easier, a lot better than being out. They've probably had the same washing machine that I had coming in. Oh my gosh, that was really bad ending to the journey. I was really pleased to get here in daylight, but now it's pitch black. It's dark. But we have laid that. They have laid that stern anchor for me, so I'm good and safe and ready for some food and I think a good sleep tonight. Well, this is my view in Ua Pou, the main harbour, Hakahau, and we just had a massive squall come through. There are 4 boats apart from Nereida at anchor here, and this one, unbelievable, have just moved over. They were over in the far corner of the bay there. Not that it's very big, but they were getting rolled like mad with this swell coming in. We are protected more here because we do have the jetty here sticking out and protecting us from the rolling. So there's the entrance of the bay to the harbour, and here's that big mountain nearby. And I don't think today's going to be very good weather. We have definitely moved. Our stern anchor is clearly doing nothing at all, so we're on our main anchor, our bow anchor, and in fact I looked to see where the stern anchor line was, and it's wrapped around our hydrovane rudder, so I've got to disentangle that. Anyway, so it's all been there's been quite a bit of excitement. One of the boats here directly behind us can't get their stern anchor up, or they have a small fortress which is well dug into the sand, and they're having to try and dig it out. So they had a problem leaving. They thought they were leaving last night, but no, they've had to stay and sort that stern anchor out. This boat seems to be fine, and there's Unbelievable, which is they've just been laying a stern anchor and they've just moved over. So we'll see what today brings. This weather is supposed to be continuing all over this weekend, which was forecast. There were blue skies this morning first thing, but not now. Okay, we'll see what else happens. Helicopter's taking off again. Looks very much as though it's making for Nuku Hiva to the north of here. Well, that was where my stern anchor was laid, between those 2 boats there. And at the moment, it's well forward of the boat. and this is how much of the line that was laid out I've been able to pull in. It's completely slack. So clearly the stern anchor is not doing anything at all of use. So here we have a view of the harbour at Hakahau on Ua Pou at sunset. And you can see how small it is. It's just about able to take 3 or 4 or 5 boats if they're very careful. I did have a boat come a bit close to me to anchor, and eventually they had to move away because we were just swinging around and getting too close to each other. The problem is that quite a bit of the bay over towards where the sunset can be seen is actually open to swell. Unless you're behind the harbour wall, you're not protected, and so that rather reduces the space to anchor in.